Well, I'd like to use this gCADPlus drawing to illustrate the value of using templates. One of our users specialises in helping people develop urban gardens that are highly productive, and I've got some images on the left-hand side showing the sort of work that they do: raised garden beds and aquaponics, where fish are grown in tubs and are fed by the drainage from pots above, where all sorts of useful vegetables are growing. They also provide help establishing chicken huts and hutches. But the point that I'm making is that if they start with a drawing such as this, and they have a series of blocks over here on the right hand side, they can just move their sort of standard module for vegetables into place. They can move a standard module for their fish tank, which might require access to a little tool shed there. So if we zoom in here, there's the little design we showed on the left earlier for the fish cultivation. They might use some raised garden beds of varying size, and they've all been put here. So we could actually grab all three of those and we could move them into position or copy them. So let's move them here, and then they might want to rotate those, and we'll rotate them like so, and then move them down, and we now have positioned a series of blocks here. We could select them and then use the tools, it's modify and then align objects to straighten them up. But that's not quite the point that I'm trying to make. They also use these wooden trucks which have sloping sides for vegetables as well, and they've made blocks of those so they can also be moved into position. The herbs might be there near the dwelling. So they would start a new project by simply putting down the coordinates, if you like, of the dwelling, and that's just done with draw and line, and they would start here. If I click there and back again, that will give me access to the status line, so polar tracking is on, so I can start there and just move up in the direction that I want to go in. So let's imagine it's a new job and I've measured 1600 in that direction. Then I'll come across here, say 4 meters, and you'd use exactly the same technique if this was in the US, and maybe up here 1200 across this direction, say 4250, and I'm sure you get the idea. You put the footprint of the dwelling down first, then measure from the side of the dwelling to the side boundaries, draw the side boundaries accurately, because when you are developing a CAD model such as this, everything is full size. So that means if I want to take measurements, how much space have I got between the shed and here? We've got 1200 millimeters, and we want to put some paths in place. So these pots and raised garden beds have been drawn exactly the size of the real objects that this group sell and install for clients. They've all been dimensioned accurately, and if we go to our stack of layers, the dimensions are on a layer LDIM, so we can do that, and the dimensions now disappear, and it's a matter of then moving things around to produce a design that suits the client. If we zoom out a little, here's a chicken's shed, one of the chicken runs, if you like, that they sell, and it's a starter chicken run, so we're putting that into position, and we might want to put a lawn in now using the standard techniques. What I want to illustrate is that this template is already set up with an A3 sheet in portrait view, so everything that we've been doing appears automatically on this sheet. You might want to grab hold of the floating viewport and move that up a little to square things off. But can you see the logo is there? All the information that you need to fill out is already sitting at the bottom of the screen, and the same applies to a landscape view. And you might want to put some images. Maybe we could take the images that we had over here on the left and put those very same images on the side of a landscape sheet. So it would be a matter of draw and raster image. Those images are already loaded. So if we want an example of the raised beds, we can insert those onto this sheet as well. So that's giving the client a quick idea of how a new design for this company for a site is developed. So I hope that shows you the value of having a template. You just keep the template empty of the design, but it's got all of the blocks associated with it, and start a new drawing based on that template. You can even change things in gCADPlus, and when we click new, we can easily add that very same template to this list. But that's a technique that's covered in quite a number of our YouTube movies. So I hope that shows the value of using a template.